What is happening, YouTube? As per usual, it's me, 3G Geek, and I got another review rewind for you today. And today we're taking a look at Far Cry New Dawn. And yeah, right after a brief intro, we will jump right into it. So, as per usual, my rewind review will be a bit shorter than my initial review. My initial review will be linked down in the description below if you want to check that out before finishing this review, but that is up to you entirely. And yeah, this is just to kind of like go over my thoughts after I've played through the whole game, and I'm actually kind of excited because it was kind of a short game and I feel slightly accomplished for actually finishing it. Not that it was particularly hard, but just me personally. Either way, jumping into it, I made a little bit of a pro and con list for this game specifically. So first we'll start with the pros. So, to start off with the pros, it is a decent story. It has good setup, and obviously it continues from the events of Far Cry 5, and it continues on with that throughout the gameplay experience. You get to see like old Far Cry 5 locations that have just been disintegrating and just falling apart after the blasts came, and all of that good stuff. So a lot of the places you will recognize, and I actually appreciated that about the game, being able to see these old places and like, oh yeah, I remember that from the last Far Cry. That was a good aspect of the game that I enjoyed. The other part that I really enjoyed was the whole story arc, I guess, going back to more of the actual story. And what I mean by that specifically is all of the antagonists were dealt with. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it leaves me with a much better taste in my mouth at the end of the game versus Far Cry 5, so that just instantly makes it a better game already compared to the ending of Far Cry 5. The next I want to dive into the cons about the game real quick. It's just a brief little thing. Some of the cons were, in different parts there was really annoying gameplay. It just kind of went against like the normal flow of combat, and it just kind of messed up the timing, and the way that I was used to playing, it kind of forced you to play in a very specific way. And I mean, that's all well and good, but with Far Cry, at least Far Cry 5, it was just a huge open game, and you can play it however you wanted, and you can do whatever you wanted and approach any situation in any way that you wanted. These more scripted gameplay types, there was like kind of a stealth section, there was like a racing section, and like one other one that I can't... Oh, it was a melee combat section, like a gladiator fight. And those were, while interesting, kind of really annoying just because it put you at a disadvantage and asked you to overcome some of these obstacles, which it wasn't necessarily hard, it was just repetitive and not the most exciting gameplay. The next thing that I want to bring up could be either a pro or a con. And what that is, and the pro or con thing is, it is more Far Cry 5. So that could be good because it's essentially the same gameplay, the same mechanics, just with a different skin and a different setting. Which, if you loved Far Cry 5 and you wanted more and wanted to continue the story, perfect. If you were okay with Far Cry 5, but you kind of take it or leave it, then this is just kind of more of the same, but just continuing the story, and as I said, in a different skin and a different setting. So really, that you kind of have to take it or leave it. I personally loved the mechanics and all the stuff that came with Far Cry 5, and I really did enjoy the continuation of it. The story was worth it enough in my mind to thrust myself back into the Far Cry 5 world with the mechanics and the gameplay, and just to keep playing for this little bit. And to kind of justify it, it was a bit short, but since it was only $40 brand new, I feel as though that is a worthy price, and I got a decent chunk of of entertainment out of it. I can't really say how many hours specifically, but if you want to actually check out most of my gameplay for the whole Far Cry New Dawn game, I actually streamed a decent chunk of it, so I will link down to the first stream below, and then I think it should be all in like a playlist, so you should be able to make it through all of them. And as I said, there's a couple parts in here or there that are missing, but for the most part it is the entire Far Cry New Dawn experience. So if you want, feel free to check that out, and as well as the original review. It will all be linked down in the description below. And if you like this video, if you like what I'm trying to do, please remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out a lot trying to understand what videos do better, what videos don't. And also, last but not least, if you like my face and if you like the videos I put out so much, feel free to subscribe, and remember to ring that little bell so you know when I post new videos and when I stream. Although now that I've finished Far Cry New Dawn, I don't really know what I'm going to stream. But regardless, this is 3G Geek signing off.